What's going on, guys? Alright, I just want to make a video to give some tips and tricks and things I've learned. This being my first Miata engine pull. So when you are pulling the engine, this car is a 99, by the way. The headlights are from a 2001, so don't let that throw you off. Now, what I've learned is, and a lot of people do not really say this because they overcomplicate the videos. The videos are like 30 minutes long, so I'm just gonna get to the point. So you're about to pull the engine. Obviously, you've disconnected all the stuff, coil packs, whatnot, every single plug. Step one, label everything. So for example, I have this plug. Like, as you see, this is the throttle body, intake manifold, right? That's the intake manifold, throttle body. And you see like a hose here, and right beside the hose, you see a plug. So when I was disassembling everything, I took green painter's tape and a small little Sharpie marker, and I wrote sensor under throttle body on the cylinder. So the reason I wrote on the cylinder is because it's circular shaped. So I knew. Just like this one right here. Let's see what that one said. Sensor, throttle body. Let's see, front of head. So I knew that. So I knew it was the front of the head and by the throttle body. A lot of these sensors, they can only plug into one thing anyway, so it's easy in that sense. You also want to label the fuel lines and vacuum lines. So one of the cool things I learned when you're pulling the engine out, and I didn't know this before, so it's extremely hard to get access to the engine mount that is on the passenger side. Now, the engine mount here, as you see, it's fully exposed once you take off the exhaust manifold. So what you want to do is take off 1, 2, 3. They are 14 millimeter nuts, or bolts, sorry. You take those out, and underneath, in the wheel well, you'll see it underneath, there's like a cup. You want to take the bolt off there. That's either a 12 or a 14, I forget. So you want to take that off and completely remove this once you start lifting the engine up. So with your engine hoist, there's a hook that goes here and a hook that goes back there. So what you want to do is lift it ever so slightly after the other cup is also loosened from the passenger side wheel well. So what you want to do is lift it up, remove this completely, okay? This whole black contraption with the 3 bolts. Take that out once you got pressure on the engine. Once you got tension on the hook from the engine crane, and then you want to, and then that's going to actually give you room to wiggle side to side. It'll help you with everything. When you're putting it back in, same thing in reverse order. You want to drop the engine in with only the passenger side motor mount, and then you want to put this one on after the engine is dropped down and into position. You're going to have to wiggle around a little bit. I actually did this alone. It'd be really useful to have a second person, but that's not an option right now for me. And what I did is I put a jack underneath the transmission because I put the motor and transmission in one go. It's actually easier to pull the engine and transmission in one. The bell housing bolts or the transmission bolts are actually very hard to get to in this car. It's a pain in the ass. You need to use extensions. I wouldn't recommend it. It's honestly a lot less stress. All you got to do back there is pop, I think 3 17 millimeter bolts underneath that hold the bracket to the transmission, and disconnect the drive shaft, and I think 3 plugs, and then the whole thing comes out with everything you've disconnected in front. All right, guys, well, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Good luck.